Uh-oh, I just lost you.
We'll figure this out, right?
Yeah, I know.
You still can't see me?
No, not yet.
Okay, hold on. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you are.
Good. Okay, good.
Okay,
That works.
cool. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
So look, I just wanted to thank you for coming on and taking advantage of this interview because I think people will like that. We'll love to see somebody actually talk about why they like running so much.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, I think so too.
yeah.
Good.
All right. So listen, why don't we start just by asking, just go and kind of dive into the questions and just go from there.
Sure. Sounds good.
Okay. Cool. Well, actually, why don't you tell us where you're from?
Okay, I'm from South Jersey, about 45 minutes outside of Philadelphia, 45 minutes from the shore. So right in between there. It's nice.
Oh, nice. Okay. And how long have you lived there?
My whole life. I went to college in South Florida. I also lived for a little bit in Georgia on
Okay.
Lookout Mountain.
Okay.
And I ended up back here. So
Okay. Cool. All right. Awesome.
it's a Jersey girl.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right, so why don't we start with the first one? So what inspired you to start running and why do you still do it?
Right. Well, I think what really inspired me was having my third child. I was a runner in high school, and I've always been an athlete, but I kind of lost that part of myself.
Okay.
I didn't have that piece of like activity, moving, being outdoors, and I think I really once I refound my love for it, it was like I was all in.
Okay. Okay. And were you always an athlete, like just growing up? Did you like running?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. I was a soccer player, runner,
Yeah.
the whole bit. But then I started having kids,
Yeah.
and I kind of lost that. So
Okay.
it was nice to get it back again.
Okay, good. Awesome. All right. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your running goals?
Yeah. So first of all, I run because I really, really love to run. Okay. So my goals are probably less about numbers, less about like specific races as they are. I just really love to run.
Okay.
So I'm the kind of person where you could find me running 20 miles around my town just because I really want to.
Yeah.
So my goal is, first of all, to not lose my love for running.
Right.
And I think that comes by just really letting it be fun. So for me, my goal is to keep it fun.
Good. Good. No, well, it makes sense for a lot of people. I think after a while, after so many competitions and races, they just lose that desire. They reach to a certain point and they don't know where else to go. And if you're not having fun with it, then you start to burn out, and you need to keep it fun.
Right, and I do races, and I love doing races, but I want to make sure I keep loving it.
Exactly. No, exactly right. Actually, come to think of it too, now I know you're training for an ultra. Is that right?
That's right.
Is it your first ultra?
My first ultra. Yeah, coming up in a week from tomorrow.
Oh my God, you've got to tell us about that later on. I mean, I hope maybe we can follow up and you can tell us about it.
Definitely.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, why don't you tell us about your favorite race?
Ooh, my favorite race. Okay, this is a fun one.
Okay.
I did a race in Woodstown, New Jersey, and it was called the Cow Run.
The cow.
Okay, so the Cow Run.
Okay.
So I did this it was in the fall. It's a 10-mile run, and you start at a rodeo. You run through a field of bulls to start the race.
Wow.
Literally, you are running, and there are bulls on either side of you, and it's this huge crowd of people, and you're like, are we gonna get like gorged by this, or like what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But no, they leave you alone. You run right through. You run through beautiful hills, and so that was my favorite run this year. That was really awesome.
That's incredible. And what was the distance? How long was it?
It's a 10-miler. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that's awesome! Wow.
Great.
Okay, maybe I don't know. We might have to send more people up there and run with the bulls.
You have to check it out. It's pretty fun.
Okay, cool. All right. When's your next race, and why did you choose it?
Okay, yeah. So it's my race this weekend.
Okay, right.
I chose my first ultra. I met a friend through Instagram. Her name's Dee, and she said, "I'm running an ultra. I know you have 4 kids, but you should run it with me. And you know what? I'm kind of spontaneous, and I had just run a marathon on my own. It wasn't like an actual race marathon, but I had just run 26 miles. So I thought, you know what? I'm in decent shape now. I could probably train for this ultra and actually do it. And so I said, I think it was like a week later, I was like, Dee, let's do it. I've never met you before. Let's meet there for this race. Like, let's go for it. And we've been training together virtually. She has a baby the same age as my baby.
Okay.
So that's how we met online. But yeah, we're doing it this weekend.
Okay, cool. So I'm sure most of us know what an ultra is, but why don't you tell us like what an ultra really is, and what are the differences? You know, what's so different between a marathon and an ultra?
Okay. Yeah. So 26.2 miles would be your marathon.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that would be an ultra. I think most people start with the 50K.
Yeah.
And then you can go up from there. You can go to 100 miles. I mean, I don't know. People, I'm sure, have done more than that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this weekend, it's an 8-hour trail run.
Okay.
So I'm going basically. How far will I go in 8 hours?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay. So
that's what this was. I'm shooting for at least 50K, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So we on your Instagram, you have a lot of pictures of you on trails. You're a trail runner.
Yes.
I mean, well, first of all, I guess like road or trails, and why? Which one would you prefer to run, and why?
Right. Well, I think yeah, you're right. I'm a trail runner.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I basically run because, like I said, I enjoy it. I really, really enjoy it. It's my time as a mom. It can be hard to find time for yourself, and you feel selfish when you take time for yourself. But it might sound stereotypical, but I'm such a better mom when I get that. Like my 2 days a week when my husband says, go, go run your heart out, do what you need to do, come back a few hours later refreshed, and I do. It's just being near nature, being in nature, feeling like a wild person for 2 hours out of the week. I think we're just so, we're in this cubicle life, and we have we go to the grocery store and we do this. But when I'm on the trail, I can go just be me for 2 hours.
That's incredible.
Just in my element. So
right, just being out with nature, just something about being outside. It just revitalizes us, gives us energy. Right.
Absolutely, yeah. But the road is fun because when you run on trails, once you start running on the road, you realize, ooh, I'm faster than I thought I was.
That's
so that's
good
fun
point.
too.
It's a good way to train, I think. Maybe, running on trails strengthens your body so you can run better and faster on a marathon. Yeah, on a road.
Totally different. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. So, giving that, following with what you just said, what 3 tips would you give runners?
Yeah. So, a beginner runner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so if I was starting out, like if I have a friend that asked me, I want to start running, where do I start? First of all, when I first started running back, I couldn't finish a half mile around my block. And now, now I'm running an ultra marathon. That was 3 years ago when I first started back.
Okay.
So I would say you take it really easy on yourself. When you first start, it's going to be hard, but you can walk. That's like that. Like, am I still a runner if I have to walk sometimes? Absolutely, you are. I'm sorry, I'm trying to avoid the lights changing.
It's okay.
Absolutely, you are. Yeah. I mean, I would take walk breaks. I ran pregnant with my 4th pregnancy, and I would take walk breaks, and I would still run 10 miles. But if I needed to walk, I would walk. So that's number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, I would say, is have a goal. So if you start out with a really small goal, maybe you want to run a 5K. Great. Train what you need to train for that. Do strength training along with it, because that way you keep yourself healthy. That's a big thing for me. Is I try to at least strength train at least 4 days a week. Not real long, but just like hit those major muscle groups so you're healthy.
Awesome.
And then my 3rd tip would probably be, I would say, most importantly, make sure you're having fun. Because if you're not having fun, you're not going to want to do it. And for me, like that's the thing. I look forward to my trail time, and that keeps it fun for me. I look forward to my long run. So yeah, make sure it's still fun.
That's great. I mean, I think all 3 of those tips are just, it's very incredible. It's very inspiring. We all should be following, that advice, and especially because we don't want to get injured. So speaking of injuries, have you ever injured yourself on a trail run?
I've never seriously injured myself. No, I have definitely fallen. Thank God, no, I haven't. No.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for being part of this interview. I mean, like I said, we're going to follow up with you, and hopefully you can tell us a little bit more about your ultra when you're done with it.
Sounds great. I'd love to.
Cool. Okay. Thanks, Jessica. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.